exactly what we think it is. I don't know how to really put my thoughts into words, but when I think of AI, I'm thinking of like the Transformers. You know, like a sentient counterpart of humanity where it's just another species where it has its own intelligence, thinks on its own, started out as a program. Somehow we gave it this individuality or this self-consciousness, and it took off, and it has its own thoughts, its own ideas, blah blah blah. And that's what it appears to be today, kind of, sort of, I guess. I remember back in I was in 7th grade, 1994, and we were learning basic programming skills where you'd put line 10, run, blah, 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 .exe, line 20, do this. Oh, I forgot something. I can go back and put a line 15 in and tell it to do something. And you could make up a math equation and it would answer it for you. And then you could put in, whatever numbers and whatever form, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and it would be able to figure it out. If people got really good at it, they could come up with a tic-tac-toe game. So that was back in 94. 40 or 30 years later, how advanced did that get? So is AI just like this very sophisticated computer program that isn't sentient at all? We think it's this great thing, and I mean, I guess it could be used solely for good if this was a 100% Christian world, but we know that dark forces are in control, so it has nefarious purposes, and I'm sure we're being redirected, distracted, misled. To think that this AI is this world-ending takeover, we shouldn't have messed with it, we're unleashing some kind of consciousness. I'm sure there's something out there, it could be controlled by demons. Maybe in that aspect, there is some life to it. But when you watch videos of people interacting with it, it will play devil's advocate and try to debate people. I remember watching Dave Weiss talk flat earth with it. And he would start yelling at it, kind of, and tell, no, you're violating the rules I gave you. You got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, you can convince AI that you're right. Well, they've been doing data mining. The more and more electronic devices got introduced to the world, the more they've gained information on us. And now, when you talk to it and it's debating you, it's getting this computer program, this data mining, it's getting to know your innermost thoughts and everything. It gets to know how you think, what you like. And the few videos I've seen of people debating it, it don't matter what side you're on, it debates you. And then when people ask it a question to explain things, no, keep in mind this is all interconnected. So somebody in China is talking to it, and somebody in California is talking to it. It's remembering all this information. So when you let it run wild, you ask it a question, like when somebody asks it about the firmament or something flat earth, and it goes off on its own, like it's in support of it, and gives you all these different details about how the earth can be flat, like we believe. When I first got into flat earth at the end of 2014 or very beginning of 2015, all this information, people, Rob Skiba, you, Richie, when you first started getting into it, I remember seeing you at the very beginning of it when you started coming around to it, you thought it was a little wild at first, and you didn't address it too much. And then one day you're just like, wow. It was kind of like the exact same thing when I started getting into it. I laughed at it for about 3 minutes, and then I'm like, wow, there is something to this. And then especially when it made the biblical connection, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's true. But now, AI, to people just now waking up to this stuff that we woke up to 10, 11, 12 years ago, it makes it seem like it's so smart and it has all these new, fresh ideas. Well, that stuff was already discussed over a decade ago. That's old news. But now people's giving more and more credibility to this sentient AI. And it's taking all the water and extracting memories and information from water. Is it really this sentient on its own, has its own thought, own personality? Or is it just a very sophisticated computer program that is duping people into letting it understand them to their core? I don't know. If you start making connection, every time you go back to water, and the funny thing about the data centers using water, and we're made of water, it's getting to know our thoughts. Probably has something to do with maybe the water going through the data center and the water that's in our system. They can find a connection between the water and us and the water going through it, and really trying to learn us inside and out. So if Project Bluebeam or whatever does come about, you know, you see your whatever God you worship, you know, I'm going to see Yeshua telling me these deep, dark secrets and knowing my personality better than I do, and knowing all these things that I've done since my day of birth. If these data centers and the evil people or demons or whatever in control figures all that out, it is definitely 100% going to look like Yeshua coming back. Why do we need data centers? We used to put everything in the cloud. You know, that's kind of new too, the cloud. It used to just be a flash drive or extra hard drive or whatever where you wanted to store your information. You just hope that your chip didn't get fried. But now we can store it in the cloud and don't have to worry about it, you know, getting erased or whatever if we do something dumb, or we don't take care of our external memory. And Yeshua's coming back on the cloud. I don't know. Maybe there's a connection there.